It's 3:07 in the morning. The house is completely silent, and somewhere in the corner of my bedroom, a 4-inch animal has just clocked into a full shift of activity like the world's tiniest, most committed night manager. If you own a hamster, you already know this feeling intimately. Today, we're going through 10 specific things my hamster reliably does at 3 a.m., and the real explanations behind each one. Because as chaotic as it looks from a half-asleep human's perspective, almost none of it is actually random. Let's get into it. 10 things my hamster does at 3 a.m. that actually have an explanation. Number 10, the wheel marathon. The most obvious one first, the wheel, running at full speed, for what feels like an unreasonable amount of time given the animal's size. Hamsters are naturally nocturnal, meaning their entire internal clock is built around being most active during the hours humans are trying very hard to be asleep. In the wild, hamsters can travel several miles in a single night searching for food, so a wheel isn't excess energy looking for an outlet. It's your hamster doing roughly what it would be doing anyway, just in a much smaller loop. Number 9, rearranging all the bedding again. Every single morning, the bedding looks like a completely different cage than the one you set up the night before. This is instinct, not chaos. Hamsters are natural burrowers, and rearranging and digging through bedding at night mimics the tunnel-building behavior they'd rely on in the wild for shelter and temperature control. Your hamster isn't destroying the cage. Your hamster is doing home renovations on a nightly schedule that simply doesn't align with yours. Number 8, stuffing both cheeks until they're enormous. Nighttime is prime foraging time in a hamster's internal schedule, and cheek pouch stuffing is a big part of that. A hamster's cheek pouches can stretch significantly to hold far more food than seems physically reasonable, allowing them to gather as much as possible in one trip and transport it back to a storage spot, rather than making multiple risky trips out in the open. It looks slightly alarming the first time you see it. It's actually just very efficient grocery shopping. Number 7, hiding food all over the cage instead of eating it. Related directly to the cheek stuffing, a lot of that food doesn't actually get eaten right away. Hamsters are natural hoarders, instinctively stashing food in multiple hidden locations as a safety net, even when there's a full, reliable food bowl sitting right there. This instinct doesn't know the food bowl gets refilled every day. As far as your hamster's concerned, better safe than hungry later. Number 6, sudden bursts of frantic running for no visible reason. Occasionally, completely without warning, a hamster will just take off. A short, frantic sprint across the cage with no clear trigger. This is often just an energy release, similar in concept to a dog's zoomies, and it tends to happen more at night simply because that's when your hamster's naturally most active and alert. It looks like panic. It's usually closer to enthusiasm. Number 5, gnawing on the cage bars. That specific metallic rhythmic gnawing sound at 3 a.m. has a genuinely practical explanation. A hamster's front teeth never stop growing throughout their entire life, so regular chewing is a biological necessity, not a bad habit. Chewing at night specifically often lines up with their natural activity cycle, though consistent bar gnawing can also sometimes signal boredom or a desire for more space, which is worth keeping in mind if it's happening constantly rather than occasionally. Number 4, suddenly freezing, completely still, mid-activity. In the middle of running, digging, or eating, a hamster will sometimes just stop, entirely still, ears up, for several seconds, before resuming whatever they were doing. This is a genuine survival instinct. In the wild, freezing helps a small prey animal avoid detection the moment they sense a potential threat, whether that's a sound, a shadow, or a sudden change in their environment. Your bedroom at 3 a.m. is probably not full of predators, but the instinct doesn't know that, and it never fully turns off. Number 3, climbing the cage bars, like a tiny free climber. Hamsters are surprisingly strong and capable climbers relative to their size, and nighttime cage bar climbing is extremely common. Part of this is simple exploration, but it can also be a sign your hamster wants more vertical space or more enrichment options in their setup. A determined climber at 3 a.m. isn't being difficult. They're telling you fairly directly that they've got energy looking for somewhere to go. Number 2, making small, clicking or chattering noises. Occasionally, you'll catch a faint clicking or teeth chattering sound in the dark, and it can genuinely mean a couple of different things depending on context. It's sometimes a sign of mild agitation or stress, for example if they were just startled awake, but it can also just be part of normal grooming or general nighttime activity. The context usually tells you which one it is. A quick chatter followed by immediately going back to relaxed digging or eating is generally nothing to worry about. Number 1, being fully, completely awake the instant you walk past the cage. And the number 1 nightly mystery. No matter how quiet you try to be, no matter how far past the cage you think you're walking, your hamster is somehow already awake, already at the front of the cage, staring directly at you before you've even fully passed by. Hamsters have excellent hearing and a strong sense of smell, both of which are far more sensitive than ours, especially at night when their other senses are naturally heightened. You're not actually being sneaky, you never were. Your hamster clocked you the second you got out of bed. Bonus segment. Can I get my hamster on a more human-friendly schedule? Quick, practical segment here, since I know a lot of you are living through this exact 3 a.m. situation right now. Unfortunately, you can't really change a hamster's nocturnal nature. It's deeply built into their biology, not just a habit. But there are ways to make it easier to live with. Keeping the cage in a room other than your bedroom if possible is the single biggest fix. If that's not an option, placing the cage a bit farther from the bed, adding extra bedding to slightly dampen wheel noise, and choosing a quieter wheel design can all help meaningfully. Trying to force a hamster into a daytime schedule by keeping them awake during the day tends to backfire and just creates a stressed, sleep-deprived hamster, so working around their natural clock is generally the better long-term approach. One quick but genuinely useful health note. All 10 of these behaviors are completely normal nighttime hamster activity. What's worth paying closer attention to is a noticeable drop in nighttime activity. A normally active hamster that suddenly stops running, digging, or eating at night, or seems unusually lethargic even once fully awake, since that kind of change can sometimes point to illness, pain, or stress. A busy, chaotic 3 a.m. is a good sign. A quiet, still cage from a normally active hamster is the pattern actually worth keeping an eye on. So next time you're jolted awake at 3 a.m. by a wheel, some frantic digging, or a hamster who's somehow already staring at you before you've even sat up, know that there's real biology behind almost all of it. Your hamster isn't broken, isn't confused, and definitely isn't sorry. It's just running on a schedule that's been working perfectly fine for hamsters for a very, very long time. It just doesn't happen to match up with yours. If your hamster has a specific 3 a.m. ritual that's become part of your household's nightly soundtrack, tell us about it in the comments. And if you liked this one, go check out our video ranking my hamster's hiding spots from sneaky to genius. Turns out a lot of the nighttime chaos and the daytime disappearing act are running on that exact same instinct. Subscribe for weekly pet health and behavior videos. Stay positive. See you in the next one.